Hello everyone. I just want to say a couple of things to the brethren out there. One is, I've noticed in the past that I don't always receive comments and replies. And I think that, people might think that I'm just ignoring or not taking the time, but I've noticed that, when I've commented on a video, and then, I go back and I click on it again and I realize I've seen that already or whatever, or somehow I go back to this video and I'll see that someone had actually replied to something I said, and I've never received the comment. So I don't know if it's something I have wrong in my settings, or if, I don't know why I'm not receiving. So if there's ever been a time that, you've replied or commented and I haven't replied, it's, chances are I haven't received it. I don't know how all this stuff works. If I comment on someone else's video, if it's just that they're not, does all of them, I don't know how it works. I'm just not receiving all the comments. And believe me, I want to hear response. I look forward to response, and so it really bums me out. Also, I've made a couple of videos. I might look through them, because they're just little things I want to say, And one, there's so many who, some have never heard the scripture, and some has just struggled with the scripture, and, we know the struggles, we know the fight, we know the battle, and, I might even post this video. I was speaking to Shadrach. Some of you might know Shadrach Rajendra Nidgerjet. He expounds and recites scripture rightly. And some things he speaks I don't understand, and some of his beliefs that he's had from his, through his journey. I know that his heart is true. I know that he expounds the scripture. He's not trying to teach. He's speaking the word. So, and that is the most important thing, to hear the word spoken rightly. And he's done hundreds and hundreds of videos on, just reading and expounding the scripture. And, throughout these last 3 years, when I stumbled on Shadrach, so much confirmation. Every video I found so much that I had never received confirmation before. He was one of the first ones that confirmed so much. And it's right there in the scripture, if you have eyes to see, what is really being spoken. And, throughout the years, I'd go wander off here to look, keep getting confused in YouTube, because I didn't have the understanding I have now. And you'd see, these other channels speaking partial truth and then partial lies. I just kept getting confused, and every time I'd go back and I'd get grounded again, because I'd hear one speaking the same things that I've been given and heard. So I kept going back, getting grounded. And I know if there is anything where me and Shadrach, haven't, maybe some things I don't understand yet, some things he might not understand yet. But he reads the scripture. He expounds what is written in the scripture. But I know the fear. People are so afraid to be deceived. Let the Spirit guide you. Let the Spirit lead you and tell you. If its Spirit turns you away from Shadrach, don't watch him. But just listen to the words. And I know he recites and expounds the scripture rightly. I am his witness that he expounds the scripture rightly. For the most part, the things that we don't, I don't understand all things. Neither does he yet. But we clearly see we're all coming to the unity. Through his word, each of us are being strengthened and, brought up. And, there's few who have, who I've found, but I know the numbers will grow. And I'm just saying, anyone who out there who is seeking and desiring you can go and just listen to his recitation of the scripture. And, and sometimes take out what you know is right. And, things, but see, you're hearing it. Like before, I didn't have on it, but as you grow, you don't understand, but as you grow, as you hear, the more you hear, the more you're given to understand. So, see, I look, and so many are out there, the world's programmed you to look for evil or to expect deception around every corner. Why don't you look for what's good and try to find what's good and right in what one speaks? When I stopped looking, that's when everything began, when I stopped looking for all the deception, and I just started listening. And, and then now it's clearly seen to me. And I'll go further into it. Just anyone who wants to hear the scripture. And there's been a couple of places where where we haven't seen exactly eye to eye, but it wasn't, it's not the most important thing is hearing the scripture. That's how we all grow. That's how what's happened these 3 years is hearing it rightly. So anyway, what else did I want to say? I had said in a video last weekend that just the whole, and I still have stronger moments and weaker moments, but establishing us, and but I just see more clearly, because at first you kind of see what the Father's doing, and then the more and more you understand, it begins to be clear. You're certain, more and more certain of what the Father's doing, what His plan has been, and how contrary the world is. They have no idea. They are fathoms away from understanding one jot or tittle. So, but I've seen, it's like Christ coming together in you. That word being made full in you. And the last few days I've seen this sister, certain brethren having kind of the same fullness, where you're understanding the fullness, you're being grounded in it. We're all speaking the same things, having the same comprehension, and having the same, we're all being established and settled and grounded, and we're seeing it. And it's like I had a certain thought, was it last night, laying there, and just, it's freedom. It's like the truth sets you free. The more truth, the more free you feel. We are being set free. And there's no more, troubling. And I have much more to say, and that's another thing. It is Father's working and planning, and I haven't really began with my heart. I mean, I have, but not fully. I had to, we had to trust in ourselves. We had to be made to trust in that word that we're speaking. And the more and more grounded we are, the more sure we are at speaking. I've held back a lot just because, so many won't understand, and I did not know how to put it out. Because we who see know that the world does not see. They are in total darkness. We know His word is true. And we know it was all given to us before. We know that the testimony is alive. We know that the testimony is being fulfilled today. And we know it was all in the Father's hands. In part, it's who will be found worthy. And it's not in ourselves that we are found worthy. It's that He has made us worthy. And not in the way most think. It's way bigger than the world sees us. They just speak what man told them. And in their speaking, they're contrary. Their every word is contrary to what is true. And then when truth is spoken, they speak evil of it. And they say it is a lie. It has been a working, the world's working to turn man from God, from to make man's minds contrary. But if it was possible, but it's not possible. We could have a hard time to deceive the elect. We might have a hard trial, but that word is in us. That Christ in us, we cannot. The Christ won't deny Himself. That's what that means when it's spoken. That's why many, as I have spoken some things and others have spoken, these who think they know and they're leaders and they go and speak evil of us, of the word we speak, trying to correct us. Because they don't know Christ. They don't know the word. They know the word of man. They understand as man. Because if they had known Christ, they would not speak evil of us. Christ, that's why many times through these years, I couldn't speak against something I wasn't sure. See, if Christ isn't sure, if that word isn't sure in us, we won't open our mouth and speak against something. Because we know we don't understand. But those who speak quickly against something that, because it don't go with their set of doctrine, instruction, and carnal ideas, they speak quickly evil of things they don't understand. Had they had Christ and truth, they would not open their mouth against Christ's word. And, I know I was one more thing. Just, all my life, I've wrote poetry, and there's been times I wanted to be a writer. I did. When it comes to letters, I know how to put some words out, and I've learned everything from the Bible. I've learned how to read, write from the Bible. When I first began, I was, I could read, but I couldn't comprehend a lot. Even, I didn't graduate. I wasn't at a very high level of reading. My studies is what, I learned how to read and to write from my studies. The Father taught me everything that I know. And, but I always knew if I'm supposed to write one day, I would write these things. And, I know that what He has purposed in my life will be accomplished. And He has proved that so far. All that I've waited for has been, the wait is over. He has fulfilled His promise to me. But there's what I'm supposed to do from here. If I should write, I thought about doing that. Just, my kids have never known their mother. They know me, but not the one that's locked up, that's been locked up all these years. Because I had to be, just being a mother of 5 children and, divorced and raising myself, that you have to be you can't be weak in doing that. And I had to become hard to make it through. So now when I go to put those, everything I bottled up, I'm thinking to write it in my memoirs, you know, even if it's just for them, you know. But, you know, Father, guide me through what I'm posted. Because, you know, I always thought it would be a shame for me, you know, to die and leave this world and not have shared my trial. To not have shared the things that has been given to me. But I know it won't happen. You know, so, because it was never myself that was going to do this. And so as I write them, though, even if they're for my children, I'm thinking about writing and just really going, you know, giving what Father gives me to give daily. And to bring out things that has been down in me for, you know, a long time. And as I do that, to share them with you too. So, that's all I'll say for now. I hope to do a video here before I go to work also. And, one more thing. Last night when I, which that's a shorter video, so if I posted it, it'll come out before this one. But, as I was leaving work, it was so weird. But it's not, you know, and I haven't studied malls or anything, but, you know, Shananiah speaking about, she called it the hummingbird moth. And last night when I was leaving work, I, you know, turned on my truck, and on the side of our store there was a moth, and it was moving real super fast. Its wings was, you know, fluttering, and I wondered, is that moth that, you know, because how fast it was moving, like a hummingbird. It was just sitting at the side, just fluttering, and I took a video of it. And then I looked it up, and I don't think it, there is many different, I looked up the hummingbird moth, and there's many different varieties of it. There was all different pictures, but, you know, I don't think that's what this one was, but it was huge, and he was, you know. So if Shananiah has anything to add to that, I mean, I'm going to share that video. I was a little disappointed when I found that I didn't think that it was a hummingbird moth, but he still visited me last night, so I'll post that. Oh, and I did have another beetle that I've never seen. Was that yesterday? It was on our door, but it was huge. I mean, that beetle was, it looked like it was brown with black spots, and, you know, like a ladybug, but it was brown. And I know there's like hundreds of species of ladybug, I guess. But I've never seen one. He was huge. He was like 10 times bigger than a regular ladybug. So anyway, I've seen some strange insects in the last few years, like things I've never seen before. So I don't know if they're just migrating, you know, that all the change in the world, you know. But that's all I'll say for now. I'll share that video. I love you all. Father bless you.